Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Good morning, it's 6:30 on Saturday the 15th of May. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. It's not a bad morning actually, not too cold. It's not raining, which is always a bonus. And the sun looks like it might be trying to get out. I know what is out. All these dandelions, look. They're everywhere. And I've noticed during this week, with all that rain we've been having, the grass is starting to grow. So at some point, I don't think we'll be doing anything this weekend, but I'm guessing certainly next weekend we're going to have to set about this grass and give it its first cut, because the more I look at it, the more I can see it is actually getting surprisingly long, surprisingly quickly. Anyway, as always, we'll be making it up as we go along today, and wherever we are up to, I'll be sharing with you during the video. Well, first things first, as usual, chickens, I can see they're already congregating by the door. Look at this, you'd think you'd never been fed. You're going to have to get yourselves out there, out the way of this door. Stop scrapping. Look at this, look, the little red one. They know I'm coming in. Get in. It's like being with kids, it really is. Come on, what's this? The red ones just stay by my feet. They're looking for that other seed. They know that this one is just a regular bucket, and that's not what they want. They want what's in my pocket. Look at them. Come on then. How crazy is that? They just ignore that, which is the layers pellets, and what they're after is this stuff in my pocket here. They're after this. Right, let me top up this this little feeder outside. In fact, I can't do that one-handed, so I'll do the feeder and then we'll go and see what's inside the coop while they're playing around with the seeds here. Right, they're all happy enough now. Let's take a little look and see what we've got in the coop. And there's plenty of feed and water in there. You would think that there's nothing in here, the way they all congregate at the door and start scrapping when I put seed down. Well, there's nothing in this one, which is the one they used to lay in all the time. And similarly, just a quick check, nothing in that one. Oh, look what we've got here. We've got 4 in that one and 2 in that one, so that's 6. Because I did check on Thursday night, you'll remember. So that's 6 from yesterday. Bit of tidying up to do as usual. Look at that, they're all sitting in that corner rather than perching on this perch, because there's nothing on the floor under there. I don't understand it at all. I don't know what the big attraction is of that corner, because it's not this end by the door. They all seem to be hanging around that end, but I don't know. Anyway, I'll clean that out, get the eggs out, and get the kettle on. Well, good morning. It's the weekend again, thankfully. I hope that you're all doing well wherever you are. it's actually not a bad morning this morning. It is forecast rain this weekend, but right now it's actually not too bad, and the temperature is also actually not too bad. I don't know where we are. We're about 14 degrees, something like that now. You can just see the thermometer on the wall, but I can't see the individual little gradients. 13, 14 is about where we are. So no fire, no diesel heater right now. It's a crazy world we live in. There's all kinds of small things going on around the world. If you're in the end of the Mediterranean, the start of the Middle East, it's a little bit warm there right now with activity going on in Israel and Palestine. Elsewhere in the world, it's pretty much more of the same. Supply chain disruption, stock market up and down like a yo-yo, inflation is definitely up, although the media would have you believe it's around about 2%, sir. I'm not buying that at all. So yeah, please don't ignore your preps. I called in, as I usually do, on the way home from work last night, Friday night. Popped into the supermarket. I literally only go in there for bread, milk and vegetables, and occasionally the odd bit of meat, because I store a lot of meat in the freezer, and the freezer's full. So in terms of meat, I can only buy week to week, otherwise it goes beyond its best by date. And fresh meat, unfortunately, when it says best before, it is best before, unlike the cans where you can just keep it for years. So that's all I call in for. A bit of meat, bit of fresh vegetables, milk and bread. Other than that, I don't really need the supermarket. And again, I found the quality of the vegetables to be very poor. And I've noticed things like broccoli and cauliflower, whereas normally, can't do that without spilling my coffee, normally a cauliflower head is around about that kind of size. I don't know what that is. That's probably about 7 inches, 8 inches in diameter. Broccoli slightly less, but for weeks now, and all right, I'm calling it at the end of the working day, so all the politically correct, all of the people who have no work to go to for whatever reason that might be, they've had chance to go in there and pick around the best bits and chat with the friends and generally empty the shelves. But I don't think it's that. I just honestly believe that there is an issue with the growing region, which supplies us with our traditional vegetables when we're not harvesting here in the UK. So for us, that's South Mediterranean. And I just think that they've got crop issues. We've had a particularly cold and dry start to the year, and I'm guessing that their crops haven't matured as quickly and as well as they normally would. And by default, we're getting substandard and undersized crops in the supermarkets here. That's my theory. I don't have any direct evidence of that, other than I know that the weather has been not great this year for farmers. So yeah, quality is not good, and prices ticking up, and indeed in some things prices are rising very quickly. Grains in particular, which is impacting on other foods that use grains as an ingredient. So yeah, keep topping up, and if you're not doing it already, have a go at being self-sufficient, or as self-sufficient as you possibly can, given the space that you have, with your vegetables. We will be taking a look at what I've been growing so far this year, and very noticeable difference this last week or two. I was commenting last week, I think, about the potatoes and how well they were doing. I've been looking as I've popped in during the week on the way home from work to take care of the chickens, and I've just had a quick look around at what's growing and where needed, giving the plants that are inside some water. I've not needed to touch the outside at all because we have had a decent amount of rain this last week, and they are coming on real well, so we'll take a little look around those. As an offshoot of that, I'm conscious that I probably am going to need to do a little bit of work with vegetables in terms of thinning out some of them and perhaps potting on some of them. We'll take a look later in the video as I walk around the growing areas. Chickens produced 6 eggs for me. They were waiting this morning when I went in to give them their feed. I'm getting 5 or 6 per day, which out of 6 chickens actually is not too bad. And some days I'm convinced that at least one of them is laying more than 1 egg, and one of the bluebell, the grey chickens, probably hasn't started laying yet. So who knows, as we head in towards the summer, I might end up getting more than 6 per day. Wouldn't that be nice? It is noticeable how many people, and I don't mean yourselves in YouTube land, I mean generally around me in my circle of family and friends. It's amazing now how many are suddenly interested in the chickens and routinely ask me, how are the chickens getting on, and have you got too many eggs by chance? Because I can always take some off your hands. And I do. I quite happily share. As there's only me, 6 eggs a day is far more than I can eat, safely anyway. So I'm quite happy to share. And I'm sure that at least one of you viewing will probably be a recipient of those eggs. So yeah, everything is actually going well here at the cabin and on the land as we head in towards hopefully what will be a brighter, warmer and very productive growing season, but you'll find out as we go through the video. In terms of other things, yes, there are a million things, in all honesty, that I would like to have a go at. I'm still conscious I haven't done the framing for the polytunnel. And I'm also conscious that I need to finish off the outside walls of that storage area that I put up last weekend. I've got some, I forgot the name of it. I've got some bitumen corrugated sheets that I'm going to use to skin around the outside frame. And I also need to figure out some kind of door. I was toying with the idea of leaving it open to let the air through, so that if I put some wood in there to season, it'll help with that. But on reflection, I'm kind of tempted to use it as a material store rather than a wood store. And I'm thinking of constructing a separate store just for the various logs that I'll be collecting from the wooded area to use as firewood as we go into the winter and the start of next year. So, as always, plans do change. The more you think about it, the more you change your mind, and indeed the more things you think about that you really would like to get done. But as usual, time and money are the enemy of that. So it is a gradual process, and if you're doing this yourself, don't be frustrated by what might seem to be a lack of process, because I guarantee you by the time you get to the end of the year, you will look back and think, did I do all that this year? Really? Things do happen, they just happen a little bit slower than you might like them to. Anyway, enough of me rambling on. I need to get this coffee down me. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, hope you are staying safe and well. and do let me know in the comments section answers to questions I might ask as I go through the day, tips and tricks that you might have for whatever it is that I am doing, and let me know how you're getting on with whatever it is that you're doing as part of your prepping or as part of your move towards trying to be a little bit more self-sufficient, self-reliant, and getting away from that corporate government system that likes to keep us all firmly under their control. Things can only get messy if we allow them to take more and more control, and we end up relying more and more heavily on them for our day-to-day existence. That's not really the world that I want to live in, and I would think that it probably isn't the world that you would want to live in either. So let me finish the coffee, and as usual, whatever I'm doing, I'll just throw in the clips so that you can see what I've been up to today as we go through the day. I'll quickly take a little run round, see what we've got planned for today. That's the storage shed. You remember that from last week. I constructed that and roofed it. I have to say I'm really pleased with how that roof's come out. It's looking very nice and just as it should. And with it being metal, that's going to last forever pretty much. The framing, as I said, I'm thinking about putting a door in there rather than leaving it open. It's still very much in the air, and what I'll do is I'll use these bitumen roof sheets that I've got left over from when I did the water storage cabinet, and I'll use those to fill in the sides. So I'll give you a quick run around the garden, planting area, see what we've got going on in there. I think probably start outside. Let's see what's happening with the chickens' vegetable garden. Big difference from last week. You can actually see, without me pointing them out now, the different rows. They do go all the way back. I don't know if you can see those. I'm sure you can see those. For some reason, there's a vent in the chicken coop and they're kicking out the wood shavings off the floor. Don't know what that's about. But all the way along now, you can see quite clearly all the way down that back and the various rows. So we've got lots of lettuce coming through. And this is borage, I think, down this end. Yeah, these. That's a row of borage. So it won't be too long before the chickens are eating from their own vegetable garden. I have actually got a big cabbage in my bag that I brought down with me today. So I'll share those with the chickens. Let's take a look in the garden room, I think. Really pleased with these fruit trees. Lots and lots of leaf on those now. They're branching out really well. True potato seeds, what a difference. They're putting on so much growth now and looking like they should as proper potatoes with these leaves. So very happy with those. Strawberries going crazy in here. Of course they haven't got the rabbits to contend with as they do outside, so lots of flowers and lots of strawberries starting to grow there. Look at that, how nice is that? And the same on here, look, that's a big one. And they are everywhere. Very nice. Seeds, that borage is ready to go out. Not sure where I'm going to put that yet, but it does need to come out of those cells and start growing on. A couple of stray potatoes, true potato seeds there. I'm pleased I left those in because they're coming on really well. A while to go yet before I pot them out. Nothing happening at all in this tray of peas. Don't know what that is because the other tray of peas also, nothing happening. bit strange. Cauliflower's broken through and is putting on some growth now. Not all of the cells have germinated, but it is a bit early still, so I'll just keep an eye on those. Cabbage not yet broken through, but that's early. I only did that, was it last weekend? I can't remember. But look at this. The tomatoes really coming on strongly now. And a couple of cucumbers through. Not sure why only 2 out of the 5 have produced, but 2's better than none. And I can't complain about the tomatoes at all. Every single cell germinated in there, and we've got some really strong shoots coming up now with their actual mature leaves coming through as well. And look at that, those marigolds I put in, they're through already. They've gone absolutely bonkers. So that's the garden room. I'll just quickly run outside to take you through the raised beds and the polytunnel, but I'll just stop the clip so it's not too long when I do the edit. So, here we are outside. Look at those Swedes, eh? How good are those? Really, really strong growth on those now. And the marigolds that I put in, don't know if you can see the hiding one there. There's another one there. There's a stray in there. I don't know what that is. That looks like a potato. How's that got in there? Strange. But yeah, the marigolds also, they're everywhere, look. They're coming through. Hopefully that'll dissuade the insects. That was the last bucket of potatoes I planted. Well, barrel. And look at that, they're through already. As are the other barrels. I'll leave those for maybe another week and then I'll start banking them up. Onions and garlic. The new onions coming on really strong now. Need to do a bit of weeding in here. There's a few thistles coming through, look. But yeah, can't complain about those at all. Those very young leggy seedlings of broccoli and I can't remember what it was. Was it broccoli and cauliflower? I'll have to look at the labels and see, but I think it was. They've hung in there. A few have died off because there were a couple more in here and they've not managed to survive. But given the frosts we had, I was doubtful that any of these would survive, and they have. And that's just a few extra stray Swedes and a few marigolds in there. 2 strawberry beds that got savaged by the rabbits for no reason, because they didn't eat the leaves, they just threw them around. In fact, there they are, look. They just bit them off and threw them around. But they are still hanging in and we're flowering, which is good. And I'm convinced that they will. Now that the rabbits have found out they don't like them, I'm sure that they'll survive. It's whether the strawberries themselves, the berries, survive, given the amount of pigeons I get on here. And the other one's pretty much the same over there. Nothing in that bed, and to be honest, I'm not sure what to put in there. I was kind of saving it a little bit for the seeds in the garden room, but it will need netting. And no sign yet of those corn seeds that I put in this this barrel. Moving on, let's take a little look inside the polytunnel. These are just empty buckets. I've left them outside deliberately to get a bit of water in, and I'm going to be putting something in those today at some point. Carrots. Look at these, they've gone absolutely mental. And these are going to need thinning out, they're way too crowded in there. So I'll be tempted to pop some of those into these first buckets that didn't germinate very well. But the other ones are following on behind them very nicely. These elderberry tree cuttings all hanging in there. So I'm hoping that by the end of the year, these are well established and can either move into other pots or maybe plant out, I don't know. we'll have a think. Again, strawberries in here doing well, flowering and starting to put out berries. Blueberry bush equally is putting out berries now. I'm sure you can see those. Lots of those kicking around. The younger blueberry bush, no sign of any flowers on that yet, but it is early days still. Cranberry's alright, and look at that. The fig has recovered dramatically well, actually. Lots of new leaves on these branches that got hit by that frost. Lots of them all the way down. And of course, from the bottom now as well, which is even better, because these are a bit twiggy. At some point they're going to want pruning, but not now. Finally, last but not least, look at the potatoes. Huge growth in those earlier buckets, and the later ones coming through also really well. These in fact are going to need banking up now. There's quite a bit of stem showing above ground now, so I think this one and this one I'll bank up. I'll be tempted to leave these last two, but as you can see they are breaking through all over. Oh, there is there. That end's coming through as well. I was going to say I couldn't see any, but they are clearly coming through now. There's one there as well. And similarly that one. So yeah, tremendous result with the potatoes. I've got these inside, which they're fully banked. I can't do anything more with those. They'll just grow on now. And I don't know, 6-7 weeks maybe, we might be in with a chance of actually getting some of them out the ground. I'm getting ahead of myself, we'll see. So yeah, in terms of planting, lots to do. Thin out carrots, bank up the potatoes, have a look at those seedlings in the garden room, particularly the tomatoes, see if any of those can be potted on. Plenty to go at in terms of the planting. I keep looking at this field at the rate of growth on the grass, but looking at the sky, that rain that's forecast, I think we are going to get that shortly, so I need to get cracking. I'll probably try and do that storage shed area first, get that out the way just in case the rain does come early, and then I can be pottering on with the garden stuff pretty much at my leisure. I can sit in the garden room with a polytunnel out of the weather and still make some progress. Well, there we go. I promised them some greenery and they're busy enjoying it. It is nice to see. Enjoy, chickens. Oh. Well, cutting these sheets isn't good. It just clogs up the teeth of the damned saw. But we've got it cut off the main sheet, so we're still making progress. There's always more cutting to be done. Well, that's the siding, and to be fair, it's not looking too bad, not at all. This other side remains to be seen what I'm going to do with this. I don't have enough sheet to go all the way around, so I suspect I'll be infilling with feather edge board or something similar, maybe some scrap wood off the pallets, I don't know. But this rain keeps coming and going. I thought I'd get away with it, but I'm not. It does keep coming and going. It sounds like the chickens are laying. Keep it up, girls. This is absolutely trashing the saw, but it's got to be done. The one good thing about this is it actually cleans the saw blade back off again when you start cutting wood. Just makes it difficult to get going unless or until you've got rid of all this bitumen that has gathered from cutting the sheets. But a couple of pieces of wood should clean it back up again. Onward and upward. Well, you knew there'd be some painting somewhere, didn't you? Well, we're gradually making progress. Managed to get the corrugated sheet in this side, and to be fair, that's not looking bad at all either. Don't have any of that sheet left, well, not enough anyway. There's a couple of hot cuts down there, but that's not going to do it. So, bit of jiggery pokery. I've been digging through the wood pile, which is now a disaster area, finding offcuts of feather edge board that are all the same size, and then sorting them to find out which one fits, and this size does, so I'm going to feather edge all the way up there, but not now, because I'm dying for a cup of coffee. This rain thankfully is holding off. It spits a little bit and then disappears. It is coming at some point, but thankfully not yet. So progress, we're not far away. Quick cup of coffee, get that feather edge knocked in, get it painted of course, and then we can do a bit in the garden. Well, it's gone 11 o'clock already. I don't know where this day is going to. As usual, everything takes a lot longer than you think. Awkward trying to finish boxing in the storage shed. cutting the wood is easy enough. Cutting those bitumen sheets, complete pain in the backside. And of course, you'll have seen when you're cutting those sheets, the teeth of the saw just gets clogged up with bitumen. And then when you come to do some wood, you spend an extra 10-15 minutes trying to clean off the saw blade. But I'm not complaining. We are making good progress. Just got to fill in with feather edge that one little section of the shed that I didn't have enough of those bitumen sheets for. Get that painted up and it'll be done. I'll have a little ponder about what I want to do with the door. I'm not 100% sure yet. It's like everything else, isn't it? We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, I'm conscious the day is flying by. The rain keeps coming in, spitting a bit and going, but the clouds are getting darker. So I really do need to finish that storage shed and get it painted before the skies open up. And then I need to spend some time with the planting. Well, there we go. Got the sides in, feather edged the bit that I didn't have any corrugated sheet for, and to be fair, I don't think it's looking too bad at all. Nice roof, nicely boxed in, just need some paint. Well, there we are. Job done. I really do like that roof. I really do. So, corrugated sheets are on. Infill with feather edge done and painted. The trouble is, now I've painted that, it makes this IBC water cabinet look a bit shabby. I'm guessing that at some point during the year I'm going to have to paint this, because similarly the original cabin, the smaller one here, the paint's wearing off that as well. But to be fair, we did have a mega summer last year and it did get burned, so I can't complain really. Nor can I complain about the storage shed. I'm very happy now. I've got that in. It just gives me a bit of space now under cover to store stuff that has been habitually left outside or cluttering up the tractor garage. So progress, good progress today, really pleased. The sky's definitely looking black, so I'm going to have to get myself moving. The day is passing by so quick and I haven't even touched the garden yet, so that's next on the agenda. But we're starting with the mucky jobs first, getting a load of pots filled up. I have got, I don't know, 9 or 10 I guess, already filled up, but I want those for succession planting for the carrots. So if I'm going to be planting out tomatoes or cucumbers, then I need some pots. And it's surprising how much compost you actually get through. If you think about all of the potato barrels and the raised beds outside that I've filled, I don't know how many bags of compost I've got through so far this year, but it's a fair few. I'm guessing, and it is just a guess, about 20, probably more. But if I keep on top of the grass cutting this year, and I've got the chickens bedding and waste to go in there, this time next year I shouldn't be buying bags. I should be using my own. Anyway, let me get these filled up and then we'll start banking up those potatoes. This is probably the easiest job. It's going to take the longest, but it's not exactly fiddly. Just getting these nicely banked up so they can push through a bit more growth and hopefully a few more potatoes. Time consuming, as everything is, but it's got to be done. Well, I've had a bit of a move round. I've made some space to have succession planting for the carrots, so they're all in order. I'm tempted to leave it a few weeks now before I start planting any more and let these come through. I do need to prick out and thin out those 2 big buckets. I'll probably pop them into the first ones just to fill those out and see how we get on. Potatoes are all banked up. There's not far to go on those end two nearest me. Have got quite a bit to go yet, so over successive weeks I'll just keep banking those up. And similarly, I'll put a bit of a break on now, leave it a few weeks and then start planting some more and gradually just fill this bed out, as I will do with the carrots. For now I've got my pots ready and I've got my tomato seedlings ready, so wish me luck. I'm going to try and transfer those into these bigger pots and hopefully they'll stay in those as they go on to mature and fruit. That's assuming they do, of course, because last year, remember, I had a forest but very little fruit. Fingers crossed this year it's different. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's the self-sufficiency garden looking now? Lots going on. You can tell that spring has sprung and we've had a little bit of warm weather and rain lately. Everything's really growing a treat. How's your garden doing? Have you got one? If not, why not? Let me know in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.